Good morning, my name is Tumi Tladi. Let's get down to business, shall we? But before we get down to business, have you subscribed? Did you watch my previous video? Because the content just on the previous video, I believe that's video number 28, if I'm not mistaken. It's good. It's good stuff. Please like these videos, comment if you have any thoughts, if you have any question, and I'll be sure to answer you. And then subscribe. Tell your friends about the goodness of this YouTube channel. The content is just raw. Where every time when I say the content is raw, it simply means that I do not plan to do this. I just have an idea. Like the previous video I did, let's see how do you enable two-factor authentication, and then now I'm going to show you what happens when you receive after you have enabled the two-factor authentication. So like I said, my name is Tumi Tladi. Today is Saturday morning, the 3rd of July 2021. Time is 17 minutes before 5 a.m. and I don't have a lot of time simply because the video, well, I'm not going to be long. And also I don't have a lot of time because my neighbors, they're about to wake up and then their cars are going to be noisy and everything. I want to finish by then. Okay. The one thing I know for sure is that I'm going to need my Gmail account for what we're about to do, .com. So previously we have enabled two-factor authentication for test one account. For .NET Core, I just want to do a recap and show you that I'm not done with .NET Core. I'm not done. I'm still going to come back and finish the identity part of this system, So for test one, as we authenticate ourselves, it's going to attempt to navigate to send code page, but I haven't designed it, so it's not interactive, but it shows that it prevents this user from just logging in when two-factor authentication is enabled. There we go. So there's nothing I can do on this part of .NET Core version because I did explain this in the previous video. But for .NET Framework, okay, seems like we're gonna have to do this in a private browser, a private mode of the browser. Gmail.com. I should not be authenticated on this one. So for this one, let's quickly do login, and I'm going to show you because it's enabled for the same account, test one. And then we're just going to do a code like what's happening in send code. There we go. So this page is called send code, where if you've enabled your two-factor authentication on my system, it will say, hey, you, whoever you are, test one, please choose where you would like us to send the verification code to, either through email or SMS. So you can choose that you want it via email or the code, or the phone code, or via SMS. So we're gonna take a look at the code behind the scenes. First, I'm waiting for that guy. There we go. So I'm gonna do Lexus Programmer because it's one of my main Gmail accounts. Because that test one account is tied to this email, so I just want to make sure that my passwords are super secret, long, and then complex. Okay, they want me to make sure that I confirm. You see, this is two-factor authentication, by the way. Exactly what we're about to do. Exactly what we're about to do. So on both my phones, I'm authenticating myself right now. There we go. And then they tell me that I've just signed in. There we go. I need this account. What do they mean? I've never seen this before. It's temporarily unavailable. And this is Google Workspace. Why are they saying Google Workspace? Isn't this supposed to be Gmail? There we go. You idiots. Okay. Alright, so we have it ready. Now, I'm about to say send that to the email. And I'm going to click send. That's the only thing you need to do. Send that to the email. And then now we're going to come back to this page later on. But let's go and confirm if we do indeed have that code being sent to us from my system. So let's give it a second because this guy tends to take a bit while. Okay, so in the meantime, let's go and look at the code. So we're going to start from the login. What happens from the login? So we need to go to controllers, MVC, project, and then account controller. There we go, because all of this is part of account operations. So when we log in, I'm just going to skip this part because we did this part. I just want the part of when the username and the password, it's now being authenticated. We're going to check if it is successful. Yes, we have the switch statement. So if it's success, we're going to skip this part. We want where the case is, where it requires verification. So it's going to show that message that I read down there. That's the success message number 2. Alert. We're showing the alert for success number 2, and then we are redirecting to send code. There we go. And then we are passing in anonymous object, which is return URL, and then remember me. So that's what we are doing. That's how simple it is. And then we need to go to the action method for send code. There we go, this one. So the first part is get. So we're receiving the return URL and then the state of boolean, remember me or not. So what we did there, we're gonna say, okay, get verified user ID async. So that's a signing manager. Get the user ID that has been verified already or null. So that means it can return null, but other than that, we're expecting the string to be user ID. So if I have it, if it's null, we're gonna show the error message to say, hey, the warning message that we don't know this, and then we're gonna return to error. You see, this is defensive programming. But if we found the verified user ID, and then we need that user ID, and then we're gonna go now to, again, user manager to say get valid two-factor provider async based on this user ID. So what it does, returns a list of valid two-factor providers for a user. So I set both of them to be email and phone. So we're gonna have a list of those guys, right? And then what we do, then we generated that drop-down list to say, okay, this is gonna be the text and then this is gonna be the value. So we generate that one, and then we're gonna return those guys now to the object send code view model, where we are injecting those providers, the return URL, and then this guy. So this is let's check the view for it because I feel like it's important. The corresponding view, or should I say the page for send code. That was the first part where it just showed me the options. Okay, so what it does, you see I have a drop down. Here's a drop down, and then I have where you select the provider, and then from the list of those providers, and that's it, basically. Okay, so because I said they should send this to my phone, to my email, sorry, to my email. Let's see if do we have that email. Yes, we do have the email. Here is the email. Okay, I'll take a look at it in a second. So what happens here, so we have that object. So let me show you what's in this send code view model. Let me just give you a sneak peek into the properties. So I do have selected, of which in this case it's email code, and then select two-factor authentication from the list of these providers. So that one is selected, which is email, but here it was a list which is email and phone code, and then the return URL, where should we return to, and if you want to remember the state. So this is the model for send code view model, and you see how I program my variable name. It takes the name from the object itself. I'm not a lazy person. So we're gonna check the state if it's model. Yes, it's very important to check if they selected one of the options, and then we're gonna get the selected. From that guy, we're gonna check the selected provider, and then we're gonna say send two-factor code async. It sent the code. Do not worry about what it does and everything, and it's gonna return the boolean if it's success or not. So if it's not success, it's going to show the warning number 11 to the user, and it's going to return to the error page. But if it's not success, if it's success, it's going to skip this part. But the identity system in Microsoft ASP.NET framework, it handles the codes. I did not generate them. I'm not responsible for them. I like that flexibility as the programmer. And then from there, it's going to redirect it to verify code. And then verify code is just down here, where we're going to pass in the selected provider, the return URL, if there's any, and the remember me state. Okay, so let's take a look at that email that was sent. I don't need this one, mark as red. Lexus, Google Team, I don't need this one, mark as red. I need this one, security code. You see from the actual domain, like we've shown this, it says your security code is this number from identical docs team. This is me sending this. So we're gonna copy this guy. So this was the first part of this video. But I'm curious because I want to test my validation. What happens when I click finish? Nothing happens, but it's not showing the validation. I'm wondering as to why I did not do it. Okay, let's take a look at that. Okay, we are done here. Now verify code. That's the current page that we are on. There we go. It seems like we have a bug because what's happening here, I'm not checking the model state if it's valid, so I don't like it. And then let's check the corresponding view of the page, because what we have here is that we have a text box, and then this text box itself is expecting the code. It doesn't have what you call this thing, the thing that shows an error message. Yeah, so it doesn't have that, so I need to fix this. I don't like it. I know I did autofocus, but because what happens when I just click like I've been trying to do, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't even show the error message, meaning that let's take a look at the corresponding view model. Visual Studio, the way it's so flexible, I can do this even from the view, because you see the code, it's required, but I did not do that. I know it's required, but I did not check the model state if it's valid, and I'm not showing that error message is supposed to do it. But yeah, I'll fix this. These are the things I'm gonna be fixing. Okay, so here we have the provider. We're expecting the code, and then we're gonna return the user, and I'm gonna check the state of if it wants to remember the browser, and if they said they want to be remembered. You can be remembered, and you can remember the browser. So there's a difference there. Okay, so it's a flaw, you see, in my system. It's fine. So in here, we're expecting the provider to come through. What about the URL for this thing? See, the provider is email, and then remember me, it's false, and then this one's going to be remember the browser. So the provider is email. Okay, so right, first code. So here we're going to check, has been verified async. Has the user been verified either via password or external? Don't worry about this, but this is going to check from the current logged in user. If not, it's going to show warning number 10, return to the error. And other than that, wait, no, it's going to check if they've been verified. Yeah, if the user has been verified, yes. But the one that it's the post, this is the one where it's going to do some stuff. So let's go and enter incorrect code. Instead of 1, I'm going to do 2. Let's hit finish and see. At least there are some validations being handled, that this number is invalid code, and it keeps the state. However, so this way now the big flaw is it removed the provider and everything, so this might not work. See, this is a big problem. It might not necessarily work the way it needs to work. That means I did half job here. Okay, let's check the code. I'm almost done. This is the last thing. And we're gonna do SMS the next one. So at least this one I'm verifying the state. Oh no, sorry. The model state valid is not in here. This is the get. Sorry, this is get. This is the post where we verify this to check if the state of the model is valid. Oh, okay. But we're just not showing that on the user side. That means on the browser. So here we are checking the provider. You see, it's gonna expect the provider. So right now, even if I change this, okay, I can now log out here because we've seen that it can come through. So let me close this browser. I was saying, even if we enter the correct one, which is 1, the problem is it's still gonna expect the provider, and now the provider is gonna be null because it's not on the URL, and that's a problem. Okay, and then the code, and it's persistent. It's gonna check the remember me and remember the browser. Those are okay on the side, and then now the result. I was looking for this default one, the one of the error. It's gonna say, hey, this error, this code is invalid, so I'm handling that. So that's a default one. If the account is logged out, it's gonna say, hey, but your account is logged out though, because you need to check for this case. What if the account is logged out? And then success is just gonna say, hey, success, and it's gonna redirect to wherever it needs to be redirected, and then that's it, and it will be done. So let's try this. But the URL it's somehow messed up. So let's see what's gonna happen, because that's a flaw. See, it doesn't matter. This is a correct guy, but it doesn't matter because that guy is messed up. So let's go and do this again. Another thing that's critical about this is that when we are doing this, the user has to be logged out when we are doing this. So let's do this again. But we're not gonna do email this time. We're gonna do SMS. So I don't keep this. So I don't make this video long. I'll keep it to be long. So these are the providers. So we're gonna go with phone. I didn't check the phone number, but my phone is gonna vibrate right now. This is what I'm talking about. This we need to keep the state of this thing. We need to keep the state of this. It's very important. So the SMS has been sent to my phone. Let me check if there we go. The number is 189896. So it arrived to my phone, and then I'm gonna just click finish, and now I'm in. So in a nutshell, this is two-factor authentication, and you see it says your verification code has being successfully authenticated, and then now I'm in. I can continue with my operations. There we go. So going back to, because I do have two phones, it is sent to this, not to my iPhone but to my Samsung phone, because I have two phones. So this is the number. That's why I need to be verified. Let's do something quick. Let's change the number to my iPhone's number. So here 081429. Oh, here it is. Okay. There we go. So I'm changing the number, and they want me to verify the number. So let's wait for the tone from iPhone. Let's give it a second. There we go. 601973. It's a correct code. And then you see, say success. Your phone number has been added. I need to change this. Your phone number was added. Okay. I should say it was changed, but this is a new number now, and it's a success. So it's still enabled. Let's log out. In fact, let's remove this guy. Let's destroy that complete session. Let's do it again. And now we're gonna do this. Now it's gonna go to my iPhone. Test 1. There we go. Log in, and then just hit send. You don't have to worry about your phone. And now again, iPhone is gonna cry. There we go. it says, hello, your security code is 062702 for identical docs website and will expire in 5 minutes. And if I hit finish, wait, 062702, oh no. But that thing disappeared. See, that's my issue. Oh, okay. Wait, I am authenticated. We're doing this again. Yes, I know these are live SMSs. It's okay, but I need to understand the bug. That does it matter or does it not matter? Let's do this one more time. It seems like with that email, the code actually expired. So let's do this again. Send. My phone, as usual, is gonna cry. And check how quick it is. There we go. It's 956424. This is a correct number, but I see I do have 24, so it's incorrect because it's supposed to be 6 characters. Okay, I know it's incorrect because only 14 has to be there. But I was complaining about this. Does it know that the provider is phone? Does it know that the state of whether the user wants to be remembered is false? Because once this disappears and they're about to disappear, as soon as this thing becomes invalid, it's going to become a problem. Finish, it's invalid. We know that. There we go. The code is invalid. And then now if I quickly change it, assuming that I'm still within a time frame for this thing to be valid or to be considered valid, it worked. So that means it's not a bug. Okay. So this now what we call proper testing, because this is how you're supposed to do it. Test it for all use cases. Okay, now we can turn off two-factor authentication. Just hitting disable. And it's disabled. You disable two-factor authentication from the previous video. And then log out, and I can just log in without any of that. But for the admin account, I'm gonna do it. For the admin account. So now let's log in again. And for test 1, login. There we go, I'm in. So now we know that that's a two-factor authentication. It's incredible to do this. So the next milestone, let me set an expectation. So, I still need to do something because remember we have a new, 2 new accounts. One of them is YouTube_user. So I'm gonna use this account. Shut up. I'm gonna use this account because this person doesn't have subscription. We're gonna do this. Like, how do I manually enable? Let's pretend that this guy has paid me. So this is gonna be a next thing. We're gonna talk about what we call partial access role. That this person, because they have registered account, they have verified their email, they have verified their phone number, and now they have to pay. So we're gonna pretend as if they're paying me. We did this previously. So I'm gonna manually allow them, because after they pay, I need to add that subscription, and then we'll see where it redirects. So it's gonna redirect it to it's going to grant this person a partial access. Like I have to grant this person a partial access. Okay. That's the next thing we're going to do. Before we can add the business, or before this user can add the store. So that's what we're going to be doing next. With that being said, I am done. I'm just going to fix a couple of errors that I identified, and then that's it. So let me leave it as it is. Okay, but I'll work later on. Please, like I said, the content on this channel is good. It's very good. I'm still learning and I'm proud of the work that I did. I'm there to see that there are some validations. We are checking for the state, and then we are properly handling the error messages. So with that being said, I am done. Thank you very much.